Hi, I'm Erica Cardenas. Welcome to Doing More and happy National Hispanic Heritage Month. September is known as the first month of autumn, the month of harvest moon, and of course, National Hispanic Heritage Month. It's a time to celebrate the accomplishments of Hispanic Americans who've contributed to our culture and society and who've helped make America the wonderful country that it is today. Although since the global pandemic and the hustle and bustle of the back-to-school remote learning, many communities have been facing challenges, and one of these communities is the Latino community. As leadership were called for school closures, a massive shift occurred where homes became classrooms, parents became teachers, educators became social workers, schools became food pantries, and everyone experienced a crash course in the virtual learning environment. An organization that knows about the challenges the Latino community has been facing is the Arizona Latino Leaders in Education. And with me now is the Executive Director, Stephanie Farah. Stephanie, happy Hispanic Heritage Month, first off.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here to celebrate.
Thanks for being with us. First off, give us a little bit of history on the Arizona Latino Leaders in Education.
Sure. So we're relatively a new education advocacy organization. It was 2 weeks after schools closed in the midst of the pandemic as it was kind of hitting Arizona. But for my founder and I, it was really important that we take the time to listen to the community, listen to their experience, how the coronavirus was impacting them and their families, and then also how they were navigating school closures, really focused on ensuring that our community has a voice in decision making.
Speaking of having a voice in the community, many decisions in education are passed without the voice of the Latino community. So tell us, what is All in Education doing to help give a voice back to the community?
Absolutely. It is so true. Oftentimes, decision makers don't listen to communities first. And so for us, like I said, it was really important that we kind of practice a new approach and make sure that we are listening to the communities that are most impacted by the inequity in our system. So there were really 5 kind of key areas and challenges that we heard from families. The first was a lack of communication from their school community. There was also issues with technology and access to devices. Also about parents not knowing how to navigate the actual devices that they were allowed to borrow. The struggle to navigate the tools presented itself. And parents also just feeling overwhelmed with being educators or being asked to be educators in the home. Economic challenges, job loss, and finally, our high-risk population, students with special needs, our English learners we heard from a lot of parents who had concerns about their children falling behind in this distance learning environment.
You know, All in Education, you all are clearly doing an exceptional job at bridging the school system with the Latino community. Why is that so important?
It's critical because we are the youngest and the fastest growing demographic block in the state. Latino students represent 46% of the state student population. When you look at the teaching workforce, however, it is only 15% Latino. And so there's a massive lack of representation in the teaching workforce. When you look at decision-making bodies, it's less than 10% Latino. We're here to kind of bridge that divide and elevate the Latino voice in these rooms. I think for us, it is important to honor our heritage, honor our culture, respect and value where we come from and who we represent, celebrate with a sense of pride in who we are and ensure that our community advances.
Stephanie, I want to thank you for taking the time, to bring awareness to the challenges that Latino families are facing as a result of the pandemic. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I was glad to be here.
For more information or to become a sponsor, make sure to head over to the website. I'll be right back with Doing More after this. Welcome back to Doing More. We shine a light on the good things happening in our communities. We're celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month through the lens of our current pandemic. Currently, the Hispanic population in the U.S. stands the largest racial or ethnic group in the U.S., which is why, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, it's celebrated nationally from September 15th through October 15th. Proclaimed by President Lyndon Johnson in 1968 and later implemented by President Ronald Reagan in 1988, September 15th was chosen as a starting point for the celebration because it's the anniversary of independence of 5 Latin American countries. We traveled to Las Vegas to chat with a group of Latino Cox employees in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Both of my grandfathers were political prisoners. My grandmothers came to this country as single moms while my grandfathers were still imprisoned.
I got here back in 1998. Actually, my in-laws used to be in charge of Salvation Army in Henderson, so they asked for help.
My parents left El Salvador due to the Civil War. So we came in the middle of the heat with 5 kids, and I've been here since 1983.
I come from a Puerto Rican family. I was born and raised in New Jersey, Hoboken, Sinatra's town. And my family is from Puerto Rico. I lived in Puerto Rico for some years too.
My mom came over when she was 11, and my dad came when he was 4. And my grandparents stayed in prison, one for 7 years and one for 11 years, and eventually came over to be with the rest of the family.
Proud to say that I am a product of the Clark County School District, but not just the Clark County School District, the ELL program of the Clark County School District. And it has really identified who I am, to be a teacher and be a lifelong learner.
In some ways, it makes me proud of who I am and what I've accomplished and where I am now. Me being bilingual is trying to help everybody under the sun is even better.
To be Latina is to share my family's history. It's to hear about what it means for a family to be separated and then come together because of migration.
Growing up Hispanic in the United States is a unique opportunity because I get to have perspective for 2 worlds. And those worlds are fused, if you want to say, within me.
That teacher made us feel really special, and I think that's what started my passion for becoming an educator, that I wanted to, in a way, pay back to what was done for me and what was given to me as a student in Clark County.
When you look at somebody that comes here and maybe they don't have papers and they have that fear, not being able to get the assistance that is there, but just being able to be that helping hand, it's a big, big thing.
I hope to open the doors for more Latinas and for more women in general to be able to enter public office and share their stories.
Being Puerto Rican, my culture, my history, the heritage, everything about it, I'm very proud of it, and I like to share it with people, and it does make up part of how I am, my drive. The growth and the things that I seek are part of that culture and heritage.
As a policymaker, I bring those same stories and experiences to my decision making, and I think that's important. Different perspectives make for better decisions.
Gracias, Cox Communications, por esta oportunidad.
Le doy gracias a Cox Communication por ese honor que me han presentado.
Gracias, Comunicaciones de Cox.
Muchísimas gracias, Cox Communications.
And speaking of celebrating Cox employees, take a look at how the Cox Southwest Region is keeping its residential customers safe, healthy, and connected.
With the closing of the Cox cafeteria in light of the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on, Cox has been very generous and has donated all the food that were in the refrigerators and the freezers we've been using in the cafeteria and bringing it down here to the Salvation Army.
Today we're here to help pack up some boxes for a pop-up distribution. Well, we know during this unprecedented time that those in our community are struggling and could use some extra help.
that Cox business actually showed up and proved to us that they are our partner and we're not just considered another business for them to service, that meant the world to us.
Such an inspiration and reminder how one's commitment can inspire so many. Don't go away, we have more coming up on Doing More. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Doing More. I'm Erica Cardenas. We're celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month. Did you know Hispanics and Latinos are not necessarily the same? Hispanics are descended from Spanish-speaking populations. Latinos are people of Latin American descent. Hispanic Americans have been influential in every part of this nation's history, from arts, politics, business to the military. A great way to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, given the pandemic, is by connecting through the diverse food, music, and language. And when you can buy and support a Latino-owned business. We also traveled to sunny California to visit a state-of-the-art dentist office filled with superheroes and fun. A super dentistry that educates and informs the importance of oral care. Take a look.
At the Super Dentist, we've always tried to reinvent and transform the dental experience for kids and families. Why? Because dentistry is typically not liked. Those fears are usually formed when we're kids. So we know the power of those associations when kids are young and they're going to the dentist. If they want to be encouraged to come to the dentist, in their mind they have to think this is fun. I'm a parent myself and I love my kids to be educated on things, but we always have to wrap education in entertainment. So we really think of how to integrate superheroes and music and stories into all aspects of dentistry so parents really love taking care of their mouths and the kids grow up loving it as well. So one of the things that we're really proud and we do a really good job, I think, is we go to hundreds of schools every year and we give dental educational presentations to kids of all ages. For our school presentation, depending on the age, they have puppets, they have videos, they have real life augmented reality experiences, so our characters actually come to life in front of them in classroom and they can teach them about all sorts of things. They can have fun and interact with them. But again, everything that we do, it's in a fun way so the kids have fun and take great care of their mouths. One of the things we just did last year was we partnered up with the Children's Discovery Museum in Escondido. So this exhibit was a huge hit. More than 50,000 kids and families in San Diego were able to take advantage of it and learn about oral health and what's it like to go to the dentist. We are just so excited to be partnered with Junior Achievement, and we've been able to teach financial literacy to thousands of 4th and 5th graders. The way this works is we have a mini location along with many organizations in San Diego. Kids basically choose to be employed at one of these locations. So they really learn the value of money, how do they spend it, and their goal is to make money basically by the end of the day. So COVID has changed everything, and it also has changed education. And education is a big guiding principle for the Super Dentist. So we've found new ways to educate and entertain the kids. We now support a lot of online educational sources. We have our own dental education college called Howard Healthcare Academy. So this pandemic has been devastating in so many ways, but it's also created some opportunities for us to be creative. We're trying to do our best to make a difference in our communities because we all live here. We want the San Diego to be better. So we just look for these opportunities to partner up with other great organizations and do some good. Even though our office has always been very visual and very hands-on, COVID-19 hasn't stopped us to really think out of the box and be creative and come up with really, really fun solutions for our kids and their families. And so we encourage our parents to visit our website and visit our offices and see all the fun things we've done to take care of them during this pandemic.
With more than 20 years of serving the San Diego community, the Super Dentists are specialists. The education level, training, and expertise of each super dentist exceeds general family dentists in pediatric and orthodontic dentistry. These everyday superheroes, along with their talented crew, are highly trained to provide an out-of-this-world dental experience for kids of all ages, including those with special needs. We also journeyed to Phoenix, Arizona to visit a teen center whose mission is to prevent teen suicide through enhancing resiliency in youth and fostering supported communities.
In Arizona, suicide is the second leading cause of death for our children, ages 10 to 19. But we know that with prevention education, it doesn't have to be that way. We can lower that number just purely by learning what to look for and what to do. You know, from Teen Lifeline's inception, our mission has been focused on preventing teen suicide across Arizona. And for the last 34 years, we really have been focused on helping to build the resiliency of teens across the state, as well as helping our communities, our schools, our towns, our cities, and all the communities across the state, really fostering support and helping them to build a sense of support and resources for their youth.
I think the greatest thing about the hotline is they're going to talk to another teen. So they'll talk to somebody who's just like them, who understands what they're going through because they're going through it too. But on top of that, the hotline is confidential and anonymous.
Most people think of Teen Lifeline as a serious room just filled with phones, and it's actually a place that I would call home because we do take calls, and that's a huge part of why we're here. But we're also here to have fun and get to know everyone, so we'll spend a lot of time here in the lounge and just chill and watch movies and do homework and talk to each other and see how how everyone is really doing.
I think teenagers deal with a lot of stressors that we didn't deal with when we were kids, and I think in general for adolescents, they don't have the experience to know that things won't always be the way that they are right now. I think that they live in a society where everything is instant. You know, they don't have to wait for information, they don't have to wait. So when they're in a lot of pain, they just don't have the experience and the knowledge to know that it's going to get better. So I think right now the biggest way kids are learning about us is through our school ID initiative. So we're on the back of over 200 school IDs across the state with a message of hope, and it simply says you're not alone. If you feel like giving up, don't. There's help, there's hope, and they can call Teen Lifeline. I think it's important for parents to know that they can call the hotline too. So while it is a peer counseling hotline, and if a parent calls, they will talk to a teen counselor, I think sometimes they just need a sounding board as well. So anybody can call Teen Lifeline, and that number is 602-248-TEEN or 602-248-8336. Also, feel free to visit the website at teenlifeline.org.
Wow, what an amazing story of community support and reflection of true love. We'll be back with more on Doing More right after this. Welcome back to Doing More. Our last stop was to a teen wellness center in San Marcos, California, whose mission is to empower those affected by abuse and neglect.
Well, Casa de Empower really is about instilling hope in children, really, and giving them a future that feels worth living to them. We provide housing and treatment for kids who otherwise would not have it and would likely end up homeless. Many of the children that we work with oftentimes have been run away and on the streets, and so our ability to provide those types of services for our local community and the mental health services that we offer is something that we feel only strengthens our local community here. We have 35 girls that live here on our campus at Costa Kids campus. When one of them struggles or destabilizes, sometimes our only option right now is to call the police. And so we really want to bypass these options that are not great. And so what our Teen Wellness Center will do is it will give us a really viable alternative that will also prevent a lot of the trauma that the kids experience when they have to go to juvenile hall. We're super excited to be building this and raising funds for it. We've started a capital campaign and we've raised a little over $3 million. We're shooting for $11 million. We've gotten a lot of local support with a real recognition that this type of program is so necessary here in San Diego County. These have been really tough times. Initially, when we learned about COVID, we really trying to figure out what to do was a real concern for us because our kids live here, so we can't just close up shop and send everybody home. And we had a lot of concern. We had staff who were concerned about themselves and their families, and we also had kids who were terrified that the staff wouldn't come in to take care of them. And so we've been able to bring in all of the PPE that we need and really work to make sure that we're giving all of our girls and our staff what they need. But it has been a journey, and I don't think it's over. I think we've got a lot more to go still. So anyone that sees this segment, the best thing that they could do is go to our website, casadeempowero.org, and there are a multitude of ways to help. Not only can they give monetarily, but in order to run an organization like this and in order to provide the services that we have a whole troop of volunteers. They provide services throughout the year through various special events and activities. And so all of that information is available to you on our website. We really have been so grateful to the community. We've seen the reach out. We've had local people coming and bringing food for our children, cooking dinners, doing all kinds of different things. And so, in these kind of times, you sometimes see the best in people too, and we've had the opportunity to witness that here at Casa de Empower.
I want to thank Stephanie Farah, Executive Director of All in Education, for taking the time to remind us of some of the challenges some communities are facing during this pandemic and for celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month with us. And as I close, I'll share a quote by the late Cesar Chavez. We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own. Happy National Hispanic Heritage Month. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Erica Cardenas. See you next time.